Hello and welcome back to the Lab Podcast. This is episode number 58, and I'm Kel, and I'm here with Cody and Seth. How y'all doing today?
Hey, yo.
Good.
How are you?
I'm just splendid. It's beautiful here finally, and not raining, which it's been a while. So, yeah. How are you guys doing?
Good. Yeah. Weather is also splendid here, so
it's been nice here
we're talking
too.
about health at any size. Sorry, Seth, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
It's okay. It's fine.
Sorry, we don't care about you, Seth.
the weather in Virginia. Sorry.
Irrelevant state. No one's heard of it. Yeah.
Only virgins live there, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Yes.
Before we go into the topic for today, you guys have any updates or any new fun things going on in your lives?
We had an earthquake a little bit ago that I did not feel because I was blending. I was using the blender. So I missed out on the fun, unfortunately. But Des texted me. He was like, "Did you just feel that earthquake?" I was like, "Nah, I didn't feel things." So, but yeah, everyone's fine. Nothing happened outside of that. So I did take like my first full day off of work yesterday for like the first time in about 5 years.
Jesus Christ.
And it was strange. I kind of didn't know what to do with myself for a little bit. Because I took it off on a day that was also a rest day. So it was very strange where I didn't have the gym and I wasn't like answering emails and, doing work stuff. But I am happy to say that I felt quite a large difference. Just today, I'm like, I am in such a better mood. I don't have this I know. I just kind of got used to the whole brain fog feeling constantly, and so I just, I was like, that's just normal. But definitely more clear in the head. I feel more ready for like check-ins tomorrow. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. My brain is fried already. So, note to self: take some rest days.
It helps.
It does.
It's part of it, just like rest days from the gym.
Exactly.
It's for your brain.
Yep. It's not a muscle, but kind of,
It's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
It sure does.
Stuff.
It should.
For some people, yeah.
True, not everybody.
What's new with you, Seth? How you doing?
Oh, as everyone knows, rent prices across the country are astronomical. The cost to survive is astronomical. So we're getting the fuck out of this lease. And I just I got approved for a new one that is like a little more than half what I pay now. So I'm really fucking happy today.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Exciting.
Yeah. That's
Except
it.
Now you have to move, and that's the worst part.
Yeah.
See, this time I'm medicated, so my plan is I'm gonna go room by room and have a task week to week of what I'm getting rid of and what's going in a box, and then I'm praying that by the time the moving truck gets here, I'll be able to just put the shit on.
Hey, I mean, it's
like
a great plan.
It's cute. It's cute. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna try.
I don't say that because of you. I say that because for myself, I wouldn't do either.
I have moved so many times in my life that you would think I would have it down by now. So I'm really hoping that this time I actually do the thing that causes like less pain. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated. I know that's fascinating. I'll tell you what I boxed up that week.
I want to know.
My favorite part of moving is that because I hate moving so much, I get rid of so many things. Like I just like the bar to what I keep is like so high. Eventually, I'm like, any childhood pictures, fuck them all, get rid of them anymore. And like things I needed the day before, I'm like, nope, don't need it anymore. I'm just like, I don't care. And it's just like anything that I don't like to not move it is worth it for me.
Yeah,
get rid of all of
I
my
use-
memories.
Right? I see it as like, have I looked at this in the last year? And if I haven't, it's gone. Same with like clothes. I mean, I probably look like there's a fair amount of shit, but it's just like all that shit will be gone. I'm just gonna be like, fuck it. So
Yeah.
same. What about you, Cody? Are you a pack rat?
Not really, because like I don't like a lot of clutter in my space and stuff like that. So I try to not just generally have a lot of stuff. But with my last house place that I was at, I didn't have access to a dumpster. So I had so much shit, like boxes, bags, things that I couldn't throw away. So the majority of what I threw away was actual trash. So like we had the garbage guy. I had to share a garbage can with my neighbor, and it was a small ass garbage can. So all I could fit in it literally was like my trash sometimes just for that week. Anything else, no. But now I have a dumpster, so it's like I don't keep anything. If things get too cluttered or whatever, I start going crazy and then I start throwing shit away. Like I did just go through my closet maybe like a month ago and like threw all of my. I gave them to Des because like she's like sorting some stuff that she might be able to keep for her boys, and she offered to take them to Goodwill, so they went to her. But yeah, I was starting to feel cluttered with closet space and clothes, so I just like sometimes you just get that urge and it's never planned. I feel like when you think of a project, spring cleaning, whatever, it's always just because I reach this level of antsiness and then I start going and then I can't stop. But it's never like, today I'm going to clean out my closet. I never plan that shit because I just won't do it.
And I don't know about you, but like mine is always sprung upon like, oh, I have a shit ton of stuff that's going to be due soon. Okay, now I don't think I can live in a without
Yes.
cleaning my closet out.
As a form of
That's
procrastination for something else. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
That's very true.
Yeah, except for right now, I'm like, because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm going through clothes really fast. And Maddie, so I share a closet. I'm growing out of clothes, and so I'll get stoked and clean them out, and then I'll put them in a basket. I'm like, we're taking this to Goodwill, and then Maddie's like, well, let me go through it, and then all the clothes end up back in the closet. Very frustrating. She's like, well, it's me now, and I'm like, what? That's not the goal.
So is Maddie more one to hold on to things and you're more one to like throw things away?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
My
She'll probably have a
feral
very different
behavior.
story. Don't ask her.
Oh, I will.
Was that-
I will be asking her. I said, you go ahead.
I said, she probably disagrees. Don't ask her.
She's like, Cal has all of these things from like 1992 that he still uses.
That's true.
He's actually a hoarder. It's actually very bad.
I do have my pogs still. I just found them the other day.
Yes, see, we knew you had some pack rat in there somewhere.
Well, it's because my mom, every time I go and visit my mom, she's like, I have this box I found for you with all your childhood things. And I'm like, well, I don't want it.
Oh, Seth, you probably don't even know what pogs are. Oh, that's so cute. He doesn't know what pogs are. So pogs were this thing, very short-lived phase where they were collectibles and it was a game, right? So you had pogs, which were little didn't they used to be on milk
Milk
cartons?
Yeah.
Milk caps, yeah. So little round milk cap things, and they put, like certain designs. They had like Simpsons pogs. They had all sorts of different pogs. And then you had slammers. And slammers were like these metal things. And you play this game where you stack up the pogs and then you use the slammer, and the ones that like flipped over, like then you keep those, and it's like this game, right? They were all the rage. There was like conventions. There were pog stores. It was everything for like 2 seconds. And then it just disappeared. Like no one cared anymore. It was crazy.
It was like overnight they were just gone, and it was super weird. Like I spent all my allowance on pogs. I think
And they
it's
were
'cause,
like milk caps?
Yeah, they're just little pieces of cardboard.
Someone
Literally.
got you.
Not just
It
me.
was yeah. It was a thing. Like
I believe you.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I feel like Pokemon cards killed Pogs.
that could be true.
Oh, I was into Pokemon, so
Yeah.
Of course you were.
collected the cards.
But-
Yeah, of course.
You would be into Pogs if you were
Probably.
a little older.
A true
I
'90s
feel.
baby. Yeah, I was just born in the
Yeah.
'90s. I don't remember them.
Yeah, well, that sucks for you. So
Missed out on cool things like Pogs.
yeah, Nickelodeon slime.
I was gonna say, 9/11 happened when I was like 6 years old, so that's one of my
Shut-
first memories. Is fucking 9/11. So
Oh man,
you guys are like, remember the '90s?
Well, the '90s were my crazy years, so it's a little bit of a blur. I'm just kidding. I never had crazy years.
No, but I feel like I'm starting to look like I did in the '90s again because everybody thought I was a little boy when I was young, 'cause
Same.
I had shaved my head, and then I grew out all of the rest of the '90s, and I wore a baseball hat everywhere, and it used to piss my mom off so much because they would say, "Oh, that's just the quietest little boy," and my mom's like, "It's a girl," and would pull my hair out. I'm like, "Mom, that hurts."
You're like, no, you're blowing my cover.
Yeah. I'm like, no, this is fine.
Oh, mom's just ruining your life in the '90s.
Trying to pass. It's hard
Yeah.
out there.
Trying to pass. Yeah.
It's so much easier to pass when you're a kid, though. Literally, all you have to do is wear a hat, and then everyone thinks you're a boy.
Yeah, because you didn't no puberty. It's the great equalizer, right?
Yeah, this is true. So, anyways, now that we've talked about, yeah, we can talk about health at every size now. So, health at any size, health at any. It could be either, but it is health at every size, aka haes. Some people
Tell us what it is, Cody. Give us a definition.
All right, so I do have the Health at Every Size website up currently because I wanted to make sure that we do represent it as accurately as possible and not just go off by what we've heard, So I could read off. They have principles. Should I go over their principles before we start the whole discussion?
Yeah,
Please.
I think
so. Okay, so the Health at Every Size principles. Number 1, weight inclusivity. And that is accept and respect the inherent diversity of body shapes and sizes and reject the idealizing or pathologizing of specific weights. So that's principle number 1. Number 2, health enhancement. Support health policies that improve and equalize access to information and services and personal practice that improve human well-being, including attention to individual physical, economic, social, spiritual, emotional, and other needs. Number 3, respectful care. Acknowledge our biases and work to end weight discrimination, weight stigma, and weight bias. Provide information and services from an understanding that socioeconomic status, race, gender, sexual orientation, age, and other identities impact weight stigma, and support environments that address these inequities. 4, eating for well-being. Promote flexible, individualized eating based on hunger, satiety, nutritional needs, and pleasure, rather than externally regulated eating plan focused on weight control. And then 5, life-enhancing movement. Support physical activities that allow people of all sizes, abilities, and interests to engage in enjoyable movement to the degree that they choose. So, that being said, when you read their principles directly from their website, they don't sound bad. I agree with a lot of it. I think almost like it's the influencers that take these and ride on a wave of extreme that doesn't exist. So I don't even know that I don't know. I just think it's gotten a little bit out of hand, and I don't even know that they really abide by the principles that they've set out on the website, because these seem pretty reasonable to me. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those principles sound really, honestly, pretty standard. And like, yes, I agree. Like, it's essentially, to me, a lot of that sounds like just ending fat, like heavy body size discrimination, which is
Yeah.
fine in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me like so you have beauty standards, whatever those are to a country or culture, and a lot of times people like physically cannot meet them, and it creates, you know, all kinds of issues around disordered eating or behaviors, dysmorphia, etc. But then, you know, I think there's a difference between saying, hey, this person who's naturally a pear shape isn't going to be banana shaped, or this person tends to carry fat this way. It doesn't mean that they're metabolically unhealthy, but it's been taken out of context by, I know we're thinking of the same people. Like, I didn't hear anything that you just said that indicated that someone who is 600 pounds and 5'10" is healthy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Essentially, all I see here is just stating that, people of all sizes deserve equality, which I
Yeah.
agree with. They deserve adequate health care. They deserve respect. And it doesn't say anything about someone's character. That doesn't depend on your size. It's not a moral issue. And like that, I agree with. I don't think we should judge someone's character or morality based off of their size. So, like, personally, I think that's kind of where this was all born from, but it has been taken to quite the extreme, to where even if a doctor mentions that weight loss might be a good solution or something that might help someone improve their health, they take that as being fat phobic and stuff like that. But there's a line. If a doctor refuses to treat someone because they are a certain size and just says, hey, lose weight, like, that's bullshit, right? But if they've run adequate tests, they've done all of the diagnostic things that they need to do to help this person, and it comes out to be like, I think is unfortunately due to your weight, so weight loss, I think, is going to be something that will help you. I feel like people are very resistant to that even being a thing, and I feel as though that is dangerous, because I would like to know if there's something that I had control over that was affecting my health negatively. Sometimes you just need someone to tell you, so yeah.
I did kind of want to highlight something that you mentioned that I agree with, and that is making sure that the tests in the doctor situation, that make sure that the tests are run and the person is listened to fully before jumping to conclusion. Because I do think that is an issue in healthcare, is that people who look unhealthy or are presenting in a different body shape or whatever aren't listened to a lot about how they feel, what they're experiencing, and kind of their symptoms. And I do think that that is a big issue in healthcare and in life in general, is people just not listening. Doctors moving too fast. And I think this is something that you've even realized, not about weight, but like when you've told people about like your injuries and stuff, doctors and them just not listening or caring. And I think that is a situation that's ran into a lot.
Oh yeah, universal across.
Yeah. And it's not even just about weight too. If you have anxiety on your chart, they're going to take that into consideration. So it's like, it isn't even just about size. Doctors, they'll look at other aspects of things too, to determine what they're going to do with you. Unfortunately, there's still doctors out there that will not just go off of whatever is in your chart, and they'll thoroughly do things. But it's not all the time, and it's not just weight that they look at as something to kind of brush you off. It could be a number of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up too, Kel, because I was thinking the same thing. And speaking as someone who used to be obese, I am lucky in that where I live now, my current primary care provider specializes in obesity related care and getting people to a healthy weight metabolically and everything. She looks at the full picture. So when I went in and I had some issues, instead of being misdiagnosed with one thing or another, she went down the list. There were some things that I was having issues with that was unrelated to my weight, but there was a fair amount that was. But the way that she broke things down made it clear that it was a non-judgmental thing. But I grew up in a Navy family also, and I got seen by Lieutenant so-and-so who would say really mean shit to me when I was like 10 years old and chonky. So it runs the gamut, right? Like I think everyone is, I mean, I know as trans men, we can speak to like discomfort in healthcare situations, but there's so many facets to it. And then doctors, they're told to, assume horses and not zebras. So they're going to say, well, this person's big or this person has anxiety. That's probably what it is. And they might be right. But what if they're not? And that person doesn't get proper care and or fucking dies or suffers because of some serious issue that they have. So I don't know. I think about this all the time. So
yeah. And sorry, go for it, Kel.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that's like why I think this movement, doesn't have a place. I think there's a lot of aspects of it that are important. The same thing. It's just we've taken it to a whole new level.
Right, and I feel like almost, like I hate to say it, but almost everything is like to the extreme nowadays, right? So there's very few topics that we aren't taking to an extreme. Like moderation is not cool anymore. Like you're one way or another, and if you have any kind of outlier, that's the thing that people are going to jump on. But I think the otherwise, like the health at any size can also hurt people who it's supposedly trying to help, just because it eliminates hope in a lot of cases. And I think that's one of my big issues with it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think there's, I've seen a lot of things. There's even doctors out there that say that, basically dieting doesn't work. It's you always gain it back. It's so why even try kind of thing. And I hate to hear that because it definitely kills people's hope. And I think that's where the extremeness was born, because people who have given up hope are kind of on this, it's like this activism almost so they can accept themselves. But in the same time, it's like more damaging because it's like they don't have to do that. And I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just I think a lot was born from lack of hope. What would you think if a doctor told you that diets don't work and you're just going to gain it back? Would you feel inspired to change?
I mean,
well, and also the doctor, I feel like as science researches and as medicine becomes more privatized, getting people on weight loss pills and doing weight loss surgeries become more prescribed anymore than doing it the hard way. And by no means am a doctor or have like the ability to say this. What I've noticed is that like people will try for a little while, or they will try and fail, or try and not do great, and the doctors are like, okay, well, there's some pills that we can get you on, or there's some surgical options, and by no means am I saying that those are never appropriate or anything like that, but like also fitness and health and like talking to a nutritionist, dietitian, something like that might be a route that needs to be tried.
Like fixing the root of the problem rather than, because like with Ozempic, everyone's talking about Ozempic right now. You have to take Ozempic for the rest of your life if you start taking that for weight loss. There's no evidence that we know of right now that you can stop it and have success. Just like any other, I don't think Ozempic is a stimulant, but I know any type of appetite suppressant, it's concerning. Now, do I think we're headed in the direction technologically with medicine that we could probably put something in someone's body in some manner or fashion that allows them to metabolize fat more quickly than they would naturally. Sure. And I think that would help a lot of people if our food and education situation doesn't change. But then that's just another thing that they're selling you. So I
Yeah,
think we're
I was
headed
just
that
about
way.
to say, is like, does anyone find it odd that, instead of addressing, the root problem, which I don't think necessarily is the people, but it's the food system, instead of addressing that, we're just creating more products to sell people. So it's
Exactly.
like, okay, we know that ultra processed food is shit and just makes you want to keep eating, and that's how people get to a certain point. But instead of doing something about that, we're going to sell you something medical uh, on top of it. So it's just like there's every industry has their hands in all the pockets, and everyone's making money off of the people who need help or kind
Who
of
are suffering. Yeah.
yeah, they're sick, suffering. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and it's like you would think that education, food sourcing, or, would be covered by insurance. If I mean the medicine's covered by insurance, a lot of times the surgeries are covered by insurance. Why can't you like there be a way to become like a licensed health provider, like as a coach or as a I mean, yes, there's dietitians, but typically they know a lot about people's like with actual like with medical issues that they're
Yeah,
actually hospital bound.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
have mixed.
are. Sorry,
I was going to say
sorry.
I have mixed opinions on some like dietitians, nutritionists. I met with a dietitian through my health insurance years ago, and she basically told me to just pound turmeric and not much else. And she was licensed, like she had like whatever, it was. She was a full ass dietitian, medical school, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, just lots of turmeric.
You know what? I've never come across a dietitian that I've agreed with, but I'm not going to get
There's
too
that.
into that.
Yeah, we'll get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some questionable shit that goes on with dietitians because I think they're great at working with cancer patients, diabetes, things that require very specific diets. But when it comes to weight loss and working with people, not the greatest. Especially with the psychological aspect of it, because I don't think they're trained in that part. They're just like,
No.
here's some numbers and
Did you know you're
formulas.
not supposed to eat that much? No. No idea.
What you really need is smaller portion sizes. Okay? That's basically all they do, and it never works.
Fat people know that. Most do, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. Most people know what to do, but it's the process, right?
Yeah.
But also, I mean, we are kind of moving. I think we are moving in more of a preventative medicine direction. I think there's some stuff evolving with personal trainers being able to, or people being able to get it covered by insurance. It's very slow moving. I know now that insurance has covered gym memberships for people over a certain age. So we are getting there a little bit. I don't know if we'll get there in our lifetime as coaches, but
As soon as we retire.
right, exactly. So there is something happening where people are realizing that prevention and preventative medicine is going to be pretty vital, not just, hey, let's treat shit after everything has gone wrong.
Because that's bad for the economy too. You look at, we have all the boomers are getting old, and not just the boomers, but cuspers and stuff who are at a point where they're needing extra care, and those health professionals are, there aren't enough to support them. And I'm not even just talking about like doctors, like just people to help them with daily life and general fitness, because you continue to need to move. So I think that gets left behind. Yeah.
Or physical therapists, occupational therapists,
Yeah.
people who are like trying to, after you've been injured or break bones or and stuff like that, trying to undo the damage that's done and to heal things that maybe are like lost all their density. Like there's a lot of stuff that once you kind of the bell has been rung at a certain age, like there's not a ton that's left to be able to do. And so the key is not getting there in the first place.
Yeah, well
Right.
fucking said.
Yeah, we gotta put more emphasis on preventative medicine, not just medicine in general. And I think as coaches, that's exactly where we stand. We are preventative medicine because, we're not treating current ailments per se, but I do think because the medical system, I think even more so post COVID, has gotten exponentially worse. A lot of people, coaches are becoming kind of that primary care physician in a sense. Especially, I mean, we just had Jason Theobald on here, and he is, the functional health coach, and functional health coaches have become almost the first source for people to go to because the belief in the medical system has dropped so much. Even for me personally, I've seen some bullshit the past 3 years where I don't trust doctors much anymore. So when that trust is gone, where do you go? You go to alternative spaces, which unfortunately can cost a lot of money. But yeah, I just think that there's some evolution going on when it comes to medicine and how it all works. I don't know how it's going to play out in the future, but I just know that generally people are trusting doctors a little bit less and kind of outsourcing, being like, where can I go? Where can I go where someone will listen to me and actually take me seriously and maybe find a solution? Whereas doctors, they also have such limited time to spend with patients. So it's just like you get 15 minutes, ready, set, go. And maybe that person doesn't want to listen to you because maybe you're overweight, maybe you're anxious, maybe you're depressed, maybe you're trans, maybe you're old. There's all these other different reasons why.
Or you're all of it.
Yeah, it's me. So it's just like all of these factors that come into play when it comes to discrimination, and doctors who have such limited time and who are already burned out. It's a disaster, it's just a recipe for people to get sicker and not have anywhere to turn. So,
but and building off of that, sometimes it's getting to the point, especially if you don't have insurance, that coaches are cheaper than medical care, to be frank. Because I know Cody knows, from his recent hospital visit, that shit's expensive, and it doesn't go away. And it's a big bill that you're never expecting and that you haven't planned for. And at least when you're trying to do preventative things, you can plan a little bit better. You can research things that you can afford. And the nice thing, and sounds so like an ad for a coaching, but coaches actually give you real day solutions that can fit you and your current situation. A lot of times doctors have a black and white thing that they're like, this is what you should do. And you're like, cool, I can't afford to get fresh vegetables every day. Or I can't, my job prevents me from seeing the sun because I work third shift. And it's like, coaches will be like, okay, let's figure out a way that we can make this work and give you actual real solutions. Because it sucks to say, but as medical care doctors get more burned out and they have less and less time, they have to treat the most severe cases first. And that's what's going to get their attention. And it's not typically going to be these lifestyle things. It's going to be the violence that's happening, or cancer, or big things. So I think people are just having to fend for themselves at this point, which sucks, but there are people out there who care and want to help.
Yeah, and that's not to say that every doctor sucks either. There's still some good ones. But,
no, I fucking love my doctor, dude. I've never had a doctor, right? What'd you say, Kel?
No, I mean, I have several doctors that I like, but they're hard to find. And if you move, what the hell do you do then? Because
I know
the shitty thing about doctors is that they're bound to the place that they are.
Yeah, I have very holistic care that I've never had in my entire life in one woman. And I'm like, I wish everyone was like you. And a lot of it was, and this is for my homies with insurance, I'm really sorry to the rest of you, but if you do have insurance, you can go on your website of your insurance and usually filter, for providers, look at what they concentrate on. Because a lot of times they'll list their interests. I looked specifically for a doctor who helped with weight management. and was a DO rather than an MD because they focus more on holistic health. If you go primarily to MDs who study communicable disease and internal medicine, well, internal medicine I think a lot of times ends up being like GP, but look for someone who wants to be a family care doctor and wants to see you be healthy, and like that's their thing. Because if you're going to someone who's like they're doing this because their mom told them to be a doctor, and you can sniff them out, in my opinion. So you know what I'm talking about. It's a status thing to be a doctor.
Yeah,
Right.
I
It
always
also
do that
is
too.
like trying to figure out like how many people did you have to go through to find that, and like that's months,
Exactly.
and it's
Yeah.
expensive to get different
A
points
lifetime.
because it's like usually your first visit with a doctor is your annual physical, and that's what like you'll get insurance is like, okay, I'll get that one. Next one's on you. And,
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, not to hate on it, but the doctors are working within the system that we have,
Yep.
which they don't have control over. So
Yeah. It's funny, Seth, you mentioned you go on, like, you basically do a background check on your doctors, right?
Yeah.
So the thing I always look for first is if they're religious. If they are, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it because
If
nope.
saints in the name.
Yeah. If like their activities they enjoy are going to church and spending time with family, I'm like, nope, not doing it.
not fooling me this time.
Like I love camping with my 12 children and going to church on Sundays. So I'm like, no, you ain't doing this shit.
No, you would like my doctor. She's also very pro cannabis. She's like, yeah, you don't need to be all on this stuff. Like, just smoke some weed. It'll help. I'm like, you're right.
My doctor also does my medical card.
Yeah, the same.
I also have a good doctor too, just in case she listens. So I don't know, you never know. So I have a good primary care physician, which is the reason. Like she's been my doctor for a long, maybe like 7 years now, and
that's awesome.
I am paying out my ass for my insurance just because it's like the only one that she takes still that I like has everything that I need. So like I pay more just to keep her as my doctor. If I go to a cheaper plan, it's not one that she is in network with, so then I just keep paying more just to stay with her, because once you find one that is accepting of you being trans, not only accepting but like affirming and helps with that,
Unicorn.
and isn't going to judge you. Yeah, so it's like once you find that, it's so hard to think about switching.
Yeah, dude, whenever you're like, you need to move back to California, I'm like, Dr. Covilli's here. That's honestly
Well, I got a good California doctor for y'all. Whenever you want to tell, I got a good one for you.
Okay. We've kind of got distracted off of our subject.
Oh yeah,
we totally did.
We started like, man, the healthcare, because but it's connected. Like how people view their bodies and how they walk through the world and what causes people to even have those types of issues in the first place. Oftentimes, we can look to the healthcare system as root causes and solutions. So I feel like it's hard to avoid. We talked about it too.
Yeah, and I do think that the healthcare industry, as well as every other industry, is kind of drove the health at any size movement. Like you have to look for acceptance somewhere. If you don't have acceptance, it's a really sad life to live, and I don't wish that upon anybody. But I think also another thing that I wanted to bring up that is kind of not off subject, but a different aspect of it is making different parts of yourself your identity and like your full identity. I think it's really dangerous. Everybody is a very complex and complicated individual with various interests and stuff. And I get kind of annoyed in the same time when people like boil us all down to transgender and like that's all you are. I hate that, right? And I'm sure you guys do too. And it's like no one is one identity, and I think big movements like this that have been bore out of kind of exclusion kind of drive this soul purpose and identity, which is dangerous, I think.
Yeah, it almost becomes this when it's like they try to be so inclusive that they end up becoming exclusive, because
Exactly.
I know that even within the health at every size movement community, like when people, if there are people who decide they want to try to lose weight, it's almost like they get shunned, because that's kind of a big no. It has developed into this thing where if you do pursue weight loss for health, then you're going against kind of what they stand for. And that's where I'm just like, this is where it gets extreme and it gets to be a negative thing and harmful, because some people do need to lose weight for health. That's just a fact. I'm sorry if that's going to get me canceled. I don't know what else to say, because what I think in general is that it shouldn't even be called health at every size. It should just be called respect at every size, because that's really what they're going for. The health at every size thing is just factually incorrect. The title is factually incorrect. In the same way, we wouldn't see someone who weighs 70 pounds, who is very underweight, as being healthy. We're not going to see someone who's 400 pounds as being healthy. To some extent, you do have a bit of an ability to see that someone is not very healthy just by their appearance. It is a thing. I am sorry.
Yeah.
It is. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree
It's
with
like
you.
a natural
And
thing
the
or
one-
something.
Yeah, and the other thing I do
Well,
want
it is biological, because that's how we kind of like choose a mate, right?
Exactly.
Back in the
Yeah.
day, it's like it's this biological thing where appearance was what brought you to find a mate before anything else. So there's just some things that are kind of inherent. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
frozen.
he is. But being chunky, like, I mean, as someone who's been chunky, you do get treated like shit sometimes, a fair amount of the time, I would say, and that sucks. I used to be a chunky, and to everyone out there, if you are, overweight, I say that with love. I understand what it's like to be overweight. So when I say chunky, it's with love. Anyway, the thing is you do get treated like shit by a lot of people, especially people who are fit. Like, they look down on you and they say shit. Like, it's not just in your head. Because I think now, seeing that, I'm like, yeah, most people don't care, but some fucking do and are fucking mean. And there's enough of them, and they're loud, just like any, shitty minority of people that kind of ruin it for everybody. So that we have to hold people accountable, and, just people tend to assume, like, if you're into lifting weights or something, you're a douche. It's the same kind of judging, people for what they do or what they look like. Stuff that doesn't matter, I should say. Anyway, kind of rambling.
No, I agree with that completely. And the other thing that I wanted to point out was that having that much mass on your body and on your organs, even if it's muscle, I would say is also unhealthy. So it's the other side of the coin. So like the mass monster bodybuilders, we're not saying that's health either. And I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, Jay Cutler could not breathe.
No, and like we talk about bodybuilding a lot and how we love it, and we by no means also think that is healthy.
Right.
So that's another size spectrum. So that's those extremes. So if you're looking at like a continuum where a heavy person is heavy with fat tissue or muscle tissue, both are on the opposite ends of the same spectrum, which are neither health.
Right.
I just wanted to make that.
No, yeah, and that's a good point. And that's why I think that, although we have some like, the BMI is this controversial thing, but that's why I think it's not complete bullshit, because at a certain point, overweight is overweight, regardless if it's muscle or fat, because it's a strain on your body, it's a strain on your heart. Your body is having to, hold on to this mass that it has to feed and give blood to, and it's going to wear you down. So yes, the BMI can be a little weird depending on your muscle mass. I am, considered overweight at this point at my weight. Not extremely, but yes, I am BMI wise categorized as overweight. Mm-hmm. Do I think that I'm like extremely unhealthy for it? No. If it was even more to the extreme, where say I weighed maybe like 50 pounds more, that would definitely be a stress on my body. I'm not a big person. I have a small frame. So that would put me at a point where I would safely say I'd be unhealthy.
But that's the goal.
Whether it was muscle or fat.
50 pounds of lean mass. What do you want?
Yeah.
I can't wait to be unhealthy, you know? But yeah, so there's certain things, you know, like the BMI thing. It's just this kind of guide that I know we want to get rid of it, but I don't necessarily think we have to. Like, my doctor never says to me, you should lose weight, because they see you and they don't even really register it. But, you know, I know if I was to a certain point to walk in there at 200 pounds at 5'3", they would be like, you should probably not weigh this much. What are you doing? You know? So sorry, that was tangent.
Chicken rice,
No.
baby.
I think it was an important thing to cover, though, because I think a lot of times people view bodybuilders and fitness influencers as like the healthiest of all healthy, and that is not the case. And
No.
I know a lot of bodybuilders that I follow online are like posting that they're eating McDonald's every day and like shit and still looking fat and stuff. Also not healthy. We just like, we're not saying that this is the only way or this is the right way. People who look healthy, quote unquote, by American standards does not mean that they are healthy. And you can't tell that just by looking at someone.
Yeah,
Right.
you could be like on some shit that's really fucking your shit up, and no one would know because you're a normal BMI or you look okay. Just not assuming people's health to a certain point, like I would say is, yeah.
Right, and I kind of want to share like a little bit of a short anecdote. I'll keep it small. And I think I just said anecdote. I did not.
You did. It was funny. I knew you meant anecdote.
But so, and this is a little bit of a deep cut. But when I was 25, I was institutionalized for some mental health issues. I was in the hospital for 3 days, and I lost like 15 pounds. And because I just was not eating at all at the time. And when I got out, a lot of people close to me were like, "You look great," and they were talking about how awesome I looked because I got really thin. And I just want to kind of point that out. Like, that isn't always a great thing to say to people.
Yeah, like grippy sock
I was
vacation.
not well. And when everybody was like, "You look so much better," and I was like, Jesus Christ. So I just kind of wanted to point out the fact that, like, when you're trying to say a compliment, just be aware of things that are going on, and that a picture of what someone looks like is not an accurate picture of their health. Just be aware of that. Our power just went out.
I know. I was looking. I'm like, I'm scared, man. I'm tripping. Okay, it's gonna be spooky edition. Halloween episode. I got actually a little frightened because his teeth were glowing, and I was like,
Is this better?
it's scarier actually, but.
Sorry, I think we have to wrap it up, friends. I'm so happy that came after I like shared that deep thing.
And that's the end.
Cool.
Oh man. Well, I wanted to kind of share also on that same topic. It's like, that's when it isn't really ever appropriate for you, either whether it's a compliment or not, to comment on someone else's body, because on the other end of the spectrum, you know, I was very skinny for a good time there, eating disorder wise. But when you try to, so say you're trying to get better, right? And someone says, "Oh my gosh, you look so much healthier," in your like eating disorder brain, you just got told you're fat.
Yeah.
Don't do that to somebody who's like trying, right? So there's so many other ways that you could communicate with people or compliment people rather than, you know, pointing certain aspects out of their body, whether it was well intentioned or not. There's always like, that person is probably not going to take it in the way that you specifically mean. Like just keeping it at, hey, you look great. How you doing? Like, that's is one thing. But getting more specific about maybe weight loss, weight gain, it doesn't usually end well.
Yeah, I say nothing
Just
unless
stay
I
away
know
from it.
that's what you're trying to do. Yeah. Like if I know, like I know we're all trying to put on muscle. If I was like, hey, look at this, or look at what I lifted, I'm like, fuck yeah. But if, I didn't know that and it was a stranger or something, it would be like, or not a stranger, like an acquaintance or a coworker, it'd be like, oh my God, what have you been doing? You lost weight. Shut the fuck up. You have no idea what's going on with that person unless they told you.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I guess like maybe the only appropriate thing, which is generally always a compliment if you're a bodybuilder, is if someone's telling you like you're looking jacked, and you're like, yeah, that feels good.
Yeah, that's the shit.
Yeah, there was like one last thing that. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm trying to think. Like, put it into words. So when it pertaining to the health at every size, basically I think it comes down to people trying to police other people. So the health at every size thing, it's like they're trying to police everyone else when it comes to dieting and counting macros, counting calories, all these things that some people might be wanting and willing to do. They're kind of sweeping generalizations of like, no, it's toxic, it's bad, we shouldn't put any emphasis on weight or appearance and stuff like that. Whereas some people might enjoy it, like bodybuilders, for example. But it's just like there's two sides trying to police, and I think that's where all this is born. So there's health at every size being like, no one should track their shit, no one should care what they look like, or they should accept their bodies as they are, and that's how it should be, end of story. And there's like the fitness industry where it's like everyone needs to look a certain way, everyone should eat a certain way, this is the optimal diet, if you don't do this then you're lazy, or so it's just if we all kind of stayed in our lane and kind of let people do what they needed to do reasonably, I feel like a whole lot of this would just not be an issue.
Yeah, I'm trying to not bust the fuck up at Kel right now. I'm just like, I was listening, but I just keep thinking, like, expecting to start, and then
it's scary story time, folks. Let's go, Kel. Are you afraid of the dark? Did you watch that show?
Especially the shadows are shooting it across, make you look like you've got evil eyebrows.
If you
It's
don't
taking me
clip
out.
this for the preview of the episode, I'll be so upset.
It's getting spooky at the
Oh
lab.
man. Does
Like,
anyone
same.
have any other like last thoughts of, health at every size or anything in general that we did not touch on?
I think I gave all of my things because my brain is now fried.
Understandably, because your power is the same way.
Yeah.
Hey.
Somehow your internet is working better now that your power is off. So.
Yeah, how the fuck? Wait.
I don't know. I don't
don't-
know what's happening.
I don't get it either. Like, how
Kel,
is your internet working?
I'm scared. Is that a different thing? No, it's not. He shouldn't have internet.
No, that's why I don't
Hold
get
on.
it. Is Maddie playing tricks on you? Like, did she just flip
You
the-
turn all the lights up, go to bed. Kel, I swear to God.
Apparently, the lights are on a timer in this room.
Oh, I'm dead. That's amazing.
This has not been our best podcast.
Kel, you
I
pulled
think
a
my
Seth. You pulled a Seth, and you're just podcasting in the dark for no reason. You know.
But in the dark, not in Seth's dimly lit cave.
Yeah, I'm a spooky. I don't hiss. Yeah.
Our thumbnail pictures always look very odd because it's just like me and Kel, and then this darkness.
I've tried
And the
lighting it, but
shadows.
it'll be at the new place. It'll be different. But like right now, it's dark outside, and the lights up here. I don't know what to do.
Seth
A ring
is
light?
like upside down Batman, like because he's got a dark beard, so this part is dark, and then it's just a big white forehead.
Are you stoned?
I know, it's just an ass.
That's really funny. I'm gonna tell Charisse I'm upside down Batman. Thank you. It's the nicest thing anyone's. I've got the power talk. If that's where we're.
Yes, let's hear it before we go any further.
Yeah, ghosty. So Noam Chomsky, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a philosopher, linguist, etc., activist, and he said something pretty profound that I like, and it is, if we choose, we can live in a world of comforting illusion. So to me, this is applicable in a multitude of ways to what we just discussed, but chief of what I was thinking going into this conversation was, if you just tell yourself there's nothing wrong because the internet tells you there's nothing wrong, and you because it makes you feel better, regardless of what you look like, that's not great. Like, you should go by the facts and the data that you have about yourself. But if you choose to make a change, make it because you love yourself, not because you want to punish yourself.
Yeah,
I like that. That was a really fitting quote for today. That was a good one.
Thanks.
Sounds like you prepared.
Good job,
I just remembered that one because I like Noam Chomsky.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very
good for you. I don't know who that
you both would like Noam Chomsky. He would like this conversation.
is. We should call him up. Is he dead?
Though I fucking say that no, but then this morning I googled him just to make sure that I got the words right for this because I'd heard it before. But then I guessed, fucking, he saw Jeffrey Epstein once, so I'm like, God damn it! Why is every single person of any kind of influence? It's like, yeah, he had dinner with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm like, what the fuck was he doing at dinner? No,
Oh,
God
no.
damn it!
Oh no, we got to scratch him off the list then.
But he's but his things, his books are very good. Anyway, it's fucking people, man.
Yeah. Well,
Ruining everything.
usually
Anyway,
the
so
problem.
don't listen to the power talk.
it's still
Jeffrey
applicable.
Epstein
It's still a
said-
good one.
Still fits. It still fits.
Can you imagine coming in here with a quote from Jeffrey Epstein?
I would be better saying, in the words of Fred Flintstone, yabba dabba doo. I'm out of here.
That's my next power talk. I call it Yabba Dabba Do It.
Oh man,
Dude!
Right. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up for real. But thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.